Hey, it's the better half. Double trucking. Double trouble trucking. I think it is. I lost the phone. Anyway.
Ain't no double trouble. It's single trouble and me.
Anyway, we just picked up a 53 in Ocala and we're heading back to Kansas City. She's in the driver's seat.
I'm doing the do.
Scary.
Watching these mirrors.
Scary. I'm scared. I'm scared. Anyway, I'm getting to go to bed.
What we're gonna talk about? We talked about why should you team. Let's talk some more reasons why you should team. Why somebody should team. Like, you're not out here by yourself. If you're scared to be out here and isolated, you're not isolated. You got somebody to talk to. If you get in an iffy situation, you got somebody to support you.
That, I will say, that is the truth. Especially me, I will say, this is going on my second year driving. My first year, I really thanked having somebody out here that I could talk to that talked me through some sticky situations. Because my first year, we were on a winter run. We went from Kansas City to Bliss, Idaho, through Wyoming, and then our other run we went from Kansas City to Hagerstown, Maryland, and Wyoming. Let me tell you what, Bliss, Idaho, through Utah. I'll tell you what, Wyoming, and I got hit. My first run through the winter, I get hit with a major blizzard. No CM blizzard.
Brown blizzard.
Been for that one right there, I don't know if I could have made it through it, but she talked me through it. Happy Jack Mountain, through a
Scary.
no, you could not see the lines.
I'd be grabbing my seatbelt.
She did. She grabbed her seatbelt, and I don't blame her. But she talked me through it, and we made it through. And if you ain't got somebody that can be calm and cool and collected and just talk you through what's going on and what's going to happen and how you need to work your truck and work your brakes, it can be very tricky. And thank goodness I had somebody that was calm, cool, collected, and could work with me. Because you know what, when you go through these schools that run you through 3-4 weeks, all they're doing is trying to get you to pass that test. They don't teach you how to go down mountains. They don't teach you the things that you really need to know out here on the road that's going to happen to you. So to have a trainer that can get you through, and I was told, the first thing I was told when I stepped in this truck, before I even stepped in this truck, the first year is the hardest year you're going to ever have. And it was hard, but she made it a whole lot simpler.
Yeah, I did tell you that because my first year, it was difficult. Of course, I had a lot of other stuff going on, but as far as driving the truck, it's unnerving at times. That mountain driving, when you get in those snowstorms that are not announced, and all of a sudden you're in a squall, like we got into that night, it is.
I love that cowlick in your hair, by the way.
Oh, that's left over from last night. It is. It's unnerving, and it means something to have somebody, even if they're just to have them up here. It means it's just it's more settling to have somebody beside you, or even to know they're in the back there, and if you need them, you can holler at them and get them up. Salt Lake.
When
I went through that pass, and it was the worst snowstorm, and I'm hollering.
Oops. I was out. That's all I can say is that I was out. I was down. It was wintertime, and I was done and out. And we have this fan. It's called the Tornado. And when that thing is on back there, you don't hear nothing. And I was out. And I felt so bad afterwards. But she had this really nice Hispanic gentleman that kept her company for just a little bit, and I'll let her tell you this story.
Okay. Okay. So we knew that there was going to be some slick spots. There always is going over through Wyoming through certain spots. We thought we were in the clear, and all of a sudden I hit black ice. And so traffic had slowed down. I'm going, I don't know, maybe 25 or 30. And I was kind of riding the shoulder to keep some traction. I had my right tires in some snow to keep some traction because it was ice on the road. And traffic seemed to be moving pretty good, so I thought, well, maybe I can move back over. So I moved back over, and immediately my truck just kind of started gliding. And if you've ever done that, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like you are in the air, but you're really on the ground, but you had no traction. And this truck started doing all this stuff, and I've never jackknifed. I've always thought, I wonder what that feels like. Well, in my mind, I think I even said it out loud. Oh, okay, this is what a jackknife feels like, because I'm about to jackknife this truck. Somehow I came out of it, and my truck was angled toward the shoulder, and there was an exit just several feet up, and I just thought, okay, we're going to take this exit. We're just going to, I'm out. So I pulled off on the exit, and I thought, okay, so I was seeing some sand trucks, another unannounced deal you get into in those mountains. And I was seeing sand trucks, so I thought, well, I'll give them a little time, because I knew that up ahead it was going to be clear again, and I thought, with just, a little bit, they'll get that sand down and I'll be able to go. So I pulled off on the exit. I go back in the sleeper. Sherry, hey Sherry, I'm going to shut it down for a little bit, because I almost jackknifed. And she's out again. I don't even think she really heard me.
I didn't hear nothing. I don't remember nothing. I think I remember a little bit. I thought it was more like I'm taking a break. I'm on my break. I don't remember nothing.
Yeah, she definitely was on her break.
I was definitely on my break.
So I come back up here to the seat, and I turn on Roseanne, because the Roseanne show can just make me, I got to laugh about something, because I was shook. I was shook up. So I was sitting here watching Roseanne, trying to chill out, and I saw a car come off on the exit behind me, and I thought, well, they're smart, they're coming off too. Well, they sat back there, and when you're in the middle of nowhere, you kind of get your birds up. You're watching, make sure ain't nobody gonna hijack you or nothing. So I'm kind of watching. In a few minutes, I get a knock on the door, out of the dark. I mean, it's dark. All you can see is a light from the snow. I roll the window down, and it's this guy. He's trying to talk to me, but his English is not very good. And he's trying to tell me that his car's broke.
Wait a minute. He said, hola Española. And she said, no la Española. And he said, I need help.
I said, you need help? And he said, yes. And I said,
he said, si, senora.
He said, in English, he said, my car, it's broke. So I said, do you need me to call 911? He said, yes. this guy has had a wreck up on the interstate back there, probably where I about went out. And he's got his small children in it. Now it's cold. It is cold.
He said, "Que frio, la niña, la
So
niño."
I call 911, and I explained to the lady. I asked, she said, "Has he got money? I'll call a tow truck. Has he got money?" And I asked him, but I ain't paying for his tow truck. He said, "Yes, a little bit." So he was acting so funny. I didn't know if he was shook up from the wreck. I didn't know if he was, I didn't know what was really going on. So I told the woman, I said, "Send an officer. I'm not sure what's going on. I don't know if he's been drinking. I don't know if he just isn't being able to speak English. Well, I don't know what's going on, and we're sitting here in the dark." So in a few minutes, a state trooper came up, and he asked me, and I told him, I said, "They're back there." So he went back there and checked on him, and in a little bit, he came back up to me, and he told me, yeah, he had been involved in a wreck, and they were going to get him some help and stuff. So that was my adventure that night. Anyway, so he said, "What's your plan?" He came back up to me, and he asked me, he said, what's your plan? I said, "My plan is I'm watching these sand trucks, and I got to get to Bliss, Idaho, and as soon as I feel like this traffic's moving, I'm sitting here watching it, and as soon as this traffic's moving, I'm going to try to go." And he said, "Well, 22 miles up, it's clear. It's clear. If you can get behind one of these sand trucks, I believe you can motivate and get past this 22 miles." And I said, "Okay." So I sat there about 30 more minutes, watched the sand trucks make a few rounds, and I get on the road. And sure enough, in about 22 miles, it cleared up. I thought, oh, I am in the clear. So I go. I get over to, it's not Salt Lake. It's it's in the Vale, Ogden, Utah. It's a pass, a mountain pass. And if the bottom of the sky didn't fall out, to the worst snowstorm I've ever driven in. The truck was literally dragging in the snow. I'm going 25 miles an hour. The wind is 50 miles an hour. I'm literally pushing myself through the snow. The snow is blowing sideways. I could barely see the road, and I could not recognize where I was.
Meanwhile, I'm in the back sleeping like a baby. Go ahead.
And I'm like totally just high alert, gripped to the steering wheel,
White
trying
knuckling.
not to let the wind blow me off the road.
White knuckling.
I'm like, I don't even know if I'm still on the right road. But I knew there was no place to pull off. Nowhere in this Vale could I pull off. Now, side note, I'm an Ayers at heart and all the way to the bone. And we sing songs for every occasion. And the thought occurred to me that I should be singing "Over the Mountain and Through the Wood," but I was so nervous I couldn't even sing that song. And I said, "Ooh, you got to let that thought go." And so I kind of reached back and hit the curtains, but I couldn't let my hand off the steering wheel long, and I was hollering for Sherry because I thought, she has got to see this and videotape it. She's got to.
Dead. So she gets to Bliss, and I get up, and I come out of the sleeper, and this is the way she looks at me.
She ain't lying.
And I'm like,
But she ain't lying.
"What's wrong with you?" And she's looking at me like, "What the hell do you think's wrong with me?" And I'm like, "What's wrong?" And she's like, "You just don't understand what's wrong with me. I have been through the worst snowstorm in the world. I have been trying to wake you up for 400 miles. And I'm like, okay.
She's just stretching and farting and feeling good.
are you ready for me to drive now?
I said, I got to go to bed.
And she's like, good night. And she just goes to the sleeper and shuts the curtains. And I'm like, oh, okay.
I said, have fun on the way back, baby.
So I get in the truck and I get in and I start driving. And I drive the whole way back. And she gets ready to take over. And she goes, so how was your drive? And I'm like, fine. And she goes, really? And I'm like, uh-huh. And she goes, you didn't have any problems? And I'm like, uh-huh. And she goes, bitch.
And team trucking. That was bad.
So, the moral to the story is check your weather really, really well and make sure you're the one that's in the sleeper.
You're not.
When you know the weather is really, really bad, and flip that coin.
And she is real good at that. She checks that weather and she's like, you want to drive to Tucumcari? I like driving to Tucumcari, but you want to drive? I'm like, yeah, let me check this weather. Oh, okay, I see what's up.
I have never had you drive to Tucumcari. I always like to drive to Tucumcari. When did you drive to Tucumcari?
I drive to Tucumcari if Gallup is clear.
No,
If
I
Gallup
like to
is
drive
clear.
to Tucumcari. You know I like to drive to Tucumcari.
Yeah, I'm teasing.
Anyway, so we're getting ready to go. She's driving from Ocala to around Manchester, Tennessee. But I'm getting ready to drive from Manchester, Tennessee to Kansas City. And there is getting ready, it's coming in right now, a really bad storm. And they're expecting ice and shit in St. Louis. So guess who's getting ready to go into some major shit?
And guess who's going to be in the sleeper with the tornado on high?
Guess who has the loudest fucking voice? Because I know I can wake her ass up. But you know what? I'm the one that will pull over. I will find a place to pull over. Because she knows I am the first one to fucking pull. Oops, excuse my language. I am the first one to pull over if I see that it does not look good. Because you know what? I did it in Nebraska. Because the first thing I saw, there was a place in Nebraska. This car just went spin. And I'm like, oh, nope. We ain't going no further. I pulled up. I ramped it. And I woke her up and I was like, see that? And over on the other side, on the off-ramp, here was a big old truck jackknife on the on-ramp. And she's like, yep, nope, don't blame you. I am the first one that will pull over.
So, topic of this video, support.
Yep.
We got each other to support each other, talk each other through it, and stuff like that. When you can get them out of the sleeper. We talk about the weather. We talk about.
And we back each other up
Yep.
on decision making.
Yep.
We back each other up. And one thing I could say, and I think she will acknowledge us, is that when we do decide that it's time to pull over and make that decision, is that we've always usually had the backup of our dispatchers. We've always had the backup of our freight carriers, that we've told them that, hey, it's not good, it's not safe driving, we need to pull over, we need to stop, because it's not safe driving conditions, and they've always had our backs. Or we'll reroute. So I got to hand it to FedEx, and I got to hand it to our dispatchers. Pardon me? Double S, that they've always had our backs. Our safety people, and it's like, hey, you got to do what you got to do, and just be safe out there. You know, there's been a couple of times last year when we were in the winter route, we spent a day or two sitting in a Love's. It's not fun, and you know, it's not the funnest thing in the world to do, but it's a safety issue. So, anything else?
Not today. Not this moment.
All right. Well, we're going to end this. Double trucking. Say goodbye.
Hit subscribe, hit like, share it if you like it. What do you want to know? What do you want us to share? What do you want us to talk about? Put it in the comment box. Hit the thumbs. Woo-hoo.
Hit the button. Share and subscribe. Hit like. You're going to like even more what we've got to say, what we got to share. Until then, we're hitting the road on to Kansas City. Look how beautiful Florida is. Even though it's raining, it's nice and flat.
And humid.
It's beautiful humid. I miss Florida. Anyway, out y'all. Bye.